Have you ever wanted to build a beautiful landing page with HTML and CSS? In this video, we are going to build a modern coffee landing page from scratch. Don't worry if you are a beginner, I will explain every step in a very simple way. So let's start building. Before we start coding, let me show you what we are going to build. Here we have a clean navigation bar with a logo, menu links, and a call to action button. As we scroll down, we have a beautiful hero section with text and an image. Next, we have some statistics about the coffee shop. Then we have the popular menu section with coffee cards. After that, there's an about section where we introduce the coffee shop. Then we have customer reviews. At the bottom, there's a call to action section and a clean footer. And don't worry, by the end of this video, you will be able to build this complete landing page from scratch. Now move to VS Code. I have also created 3 files: index.html, script.js, and style.css. I also created an image folder and added all the required images. In the HTML file, the basic HTML boilerplate is already written. Here is the title, and I have connected the CSS and JavaScript files. Now our project is ready and we can start building the landing page. Let's begin with the navigation bar. Inside the body, I will create a nav element with the class navbar. Inside the navbar, we need 3 things: a logo, navigation link, and a button. First, I will create a logo section using div.logo. Inside it, I will add a logo image and the website name. Next, I will create navigation links using Emmet Shortcut. Now I will add the link name, home, about, menu, and contact. Finally, let's add a button using a.button and button text order now. And that's it. Our navbar HTML is complete. Let's open this with the live browser. As you can see, everything is sticked because we haven't added any CSS yet. Now let's style it. First thing I want to do is import the font. Let's open the new tab and search for Google Fonts. Open the first website. Here I will search for Poppins because it's a clean and modern font that's widely used in websites. Here you will find Get Font. Click on it. Click on Embed Code. Let's copy the import code and paste it at the top of your CSS file. This way we can use the Poppins font throughout the website. Now let's add some basic styles that almost every project needs. I'm removing the default margin and padding using box size for easier sizing and applying the Poppins font to the entire website. Next, I am enabling smooth scrolling. This will make the scrolling animation look much smoother when we add navigation links later. Finally, let's set the light background color and a dark text color for the whole website. Now let's style our navigation bar. Let's copy the navbar class. I'm using Flexbox to place the logo, navigation links, and button in a single row. Next, I will add some padding to give the navbar a little breathing space. Then I will use a white background to make the navbar clean and easy to read. Position sticky and top 0. These two properties make the navbar stick to the top while scrolling. Z-index ensures the navbar always stay above the other sections. And finally, a small shadow gives it a modern look. Now let's style the logo section. Let's copy the logo class. I am placing the image and text side by side using Flexbox, adding a little gap between them and making the text larger and bold. I will also give the logo image a fixed size so it looks consistent. Now let's style the navigation links. Flexbox places all the links in one row. The gap adds spacing and list style none removes the default bullets. Here I am removing the underline, setting the text color and making the link slightly bold. Finally, let's style the button. I will add a background color, change the text color to white, remove the underline and add some padding and round the corners to give it a modern button style. Now you can see that looks much better. Now that the navigation bar is complete, let's move on to the hero section. Create a new section with the class hero. Inside this section, we will have two parts. On the left, we will add the content and on the right, we will display a coffee image. Let's create the content div first using div.heroContainer. At the top, I will add a small tag that says premium coffee experience. Next, let's add the main heading using an h1 tag. Below that, I will add a short description inside a paragraph. And finally, let's add a call to action button using a.button. I will change the button text to explore menu. Now let's create the image section. Inside it, I will add an image. Perfect, our hero section structure is ready. Now let's move to CSS. Let's target the hero section. I will give it a minimum height of 90 VH so it take up most of the screen. Now I will use Flexbox to place the content and image side by side. I will also add some space between them. And finally, let's add some padding around the section. Now let's style the right side. Using Flex 1 gives both sides equal space. Finally, let's style the image. I will make the image responsive by setting its width to 100%. Then I will set a maximum width so it doesn't become too large. I will also add rounded corners and a soft shadow to give it a modern look. Now let's style a left side. Using Flex 1 gives both sides equal space. Now let's style the small tag. I will make it an inline block so padding works properly. Now I will add a light background color, some padding, rounded corners and a little space below it. Now let's style the main heading. I will increase the font size so it becomes the main focus of this section. Next is the paragraph. I will use a softer text color, increase the line height for better readability and some space below it. Now our hero section looks much more professional. Now let's continue with the next section. Now let's create a simple state section. This section will display a few highlights about our coffee shop. I will create a new section with the class states. Inside this section, we need 3 static cards. Instead of creating each one manually, I will use an Emmet shortcut. I will type div.state into 3 and inside this div, we need h2 and paragraph and press enter. As you can see, VS Code automatically creates 3 static div. Inside each one, it also creates an h2 and paragraph. I simply update the content. 10K plus, happy customers. 25 plus, coffee variants. And then 15 plus, expert baristas. And that's it. Our static section HTML is ready. Let's move to the CSS. First, let's target the state section. I will use CSS Grid because it's a great choice for arranging multiple items evenly. Now I will create responsive columns using repeat, autofit and min-max. This allows the layout to adjust automatically on different screen sizes. Next, let's add some space between the cards. I will also add some padding around the section. For the background, I will use a dark coffee color, and since the background is dark, I will change the text color to white. Now let's style each static. This will align all the content in the center. Finally, let's style the numbers. I will use a golden color to make the numbers stand out, and I will increase the font size so they are easier to notice. As you can see, the static section looks much better now. Now let's move to the menu section. Now let's create the popular menu section. Here we will display some of our popular coffee items. I will create a new section with the class menu. First, let's add the section heading. I will change the heading to popular menu. Now we need a container to hold all the coffee cards. Inside this container, we will create 3 menu cards. Instead of writing each card manually, I will use an Emmet shortcut. I will type div.card into 3 image h3 plus p and press enter. As you can see, VS Code automatically creates 3 cards. Each card already contains an image, a heading and a paragraph. This saves a lot of time while coding. Now I will update the content. For the first card, I will add the image, change the heading to cappuccino and set the price to $8.99. For the second card, I will use latte with the price $7.99, and the third card I will use mocha with the price $9.99. And that's it. Our menu section HTML is complete. Now move to the CSS. First, let's style the main menu section. I will add some padding to create space around this section. Now let's style the section title. I will center the heading and add some space below it. Next, let's style the card container. I will use CSS Grid again because it's perfect for displaying multiple cards. Now I will create responsive columns using repeat, autofit and min-max. Finally, I will add a gap between the cards. Now let's style each card. I will give it a white background, some padding, rounded corners and a soft shadow. I will also add a transition so the hover effect looks smooth. Now let's create a simple hover effect. Mouse over the card, it will move slightly upward. It's a small effect, but it makes the website feel much more interactive. Finally, let's style the images. I will make each image fill the card width, give it a fixed height, use object fit cover to keep the image looking good and add rounded corners. Next, let's add a little spacing below the coffee name. That's it. Now you can see that looks really nice. Now let's move to the About section. This section gives visitors a quick introduction to our coffee shop. I will create a new section with the class About. This section has 2 parts. On the left, we will display an image, and on the right, we will add the content. First, let's create the image container. Now I will add the image source. Next, let's create the content section. Instead of creating every element one by one, I will use a single image shortcut. I will type div.aboutContent. Inside this is pane plus h2 plus p plus div.features and div.feature into 3 and press enter, and that's it. VS Code automatically creates the complete structure for us. Includes the content container, a pane, a heading, a paragraph, a feature container and 3 feature boxes. This is one of the biggest advantages of using Emmet. It helps you build HTML much faster. Now I simply update the content. The label will be about us. Then I will add the heading and a short description. Finally, I will update the 3 feature boxes: Premium Beans, Expert Baristas, and Freshly Brave Daily. That's it. Our About section HTML is complete. Now let's move to the CSS. First, let's target the About section. I will add some padding around the section. Then I will use Flexbox to place the image and content side by side. I will align everything vertically in the center and add some space between both sides. Now let's style the image container. I will give it equal space inside the Flexbox layout. Next, let's style the image. I will make the image responsive, add rounded corners and set it to display as a block element. Now let's move to the content section. Just like the image, I will give the content equal space. Now let's style the small About Us label. I will change its color, make it slightly bold and add a little letter spacing. Now let's style the heading. I will increase the font size and add some margin to create spacing. Next is the paragraph. I will use a softer text color, increase the line height for better readability and add some space below it. Finally, let's style the feature list. I will use Flexbox again, but this time in a column direction, so all the feature boxes are stacked vertically. Then I will add a small gap between them. Now let's style each feature box. I will give it a white background, some padding, rounded corners and a light shadow to make each feature stand out. That's it. The About section looks clean and well balanced. Now let's move to the Testimonial section. This section helps build trust by showing what customers think about our coffee shop. I will start by creating the section along with its heading using an Emmet shortcut. I will type section.testimonials div.sectionTitle h2 and press enter. This creates the testimonial section, a little container and the heading. Now I will change the heading. Next, we need a container for all the review cards. Inside this card, I will create 3 cards using another Emmet shortcut. I will type div.review into 3, image plus paragraph plus strong and press enter. As you can see, VS Code automatically creates 3 review cards. Each card already contains an image, a paragraph and a strong tag for the customer's name. Now I will update the content. First I will add the profile image, then I will write the customer review and finally I will add the customer name. That's it, our testimonial section HTML is complete. Now let's move to the CSS. First I will style the main section. I will simply add some heading to create enough space around this section. Now let's style the container that hold all the review cards. I will use CSS Grid to arrange all the review cards. Using repeat, autofit and min-max, the cards will automatically adjust on different screen sizes. Finally, I will add a small gap between each card. Now let's style each review card. I will give it a white background, add some padding around the corners and finally add a soft shadow to make each card stand out. This simple styling makes the section look much cleaner. Finally, let's style the customer profile image. I will give the image a fixed width and height. Then I will use border radius 50% to make it perfectly circular, and finally I will add a little margin at the bottom. Next, let's style the review text. I will use a slightly lighter text color so it's easier to read, and I will add some space below the paragraph. Now you can see the testimonial section looks much better now. Now let's move to the next section. Now let's move to the CTA section. Now let's create the CTA section. This is the section where we encourage users to take action like placing an order or claiming an offer. Instead of creating each element one by one, I will use a single image shortcut. I will type section.cta greater than div.cta content greater than span plus h2 plus p plus anchor.cta button and press enter, and there we go. VS Code create the entire structure for us. Now I will update the content. The small label will be limited offer. Next I will add the heading, get 30% off on your first order. Below that I will write a short description, and finally I will change the button text to claim offer. That's it, our CTA section HTML is complete. Now let's move to the CSS. First, let's style the main CTA section. I will simply add some padding to create enough space around this section. Now let's style the content container. Instead of using a solid background color, I will use a linear gradient to give this section a more modern look. Next, I will change the text color to white. Center all the content, add some padding, round the corners, and finally add a soft box shadow. These small changes make the CTA section stand out from the rest of the page. Now let's style the small label. I will increase the letter spacing and keep the font size a little smaller so it looks like a subtitle. Next, let's style the main heading. I will increase the font size and add some margin to create proper spacing. Now let's style the paragraph. I will set a maximum width so the text doesn't stretch too much on large screen. Then I will center it, improve the line height, and add some space below it. Finally, let's style the button. I will make it an inline block. Add a white background, change the text color to match our theme, remove the default underline, add some padding round the corners, and make the text slightly bold. Now you can see here that looks really nice. Now let's move to the footer section. Now let's create the final section of our landing page, the footer. The footer usually contains copyright information and appear at the bottom of every website. Since we only need a paragraph inside the footer, I will use a simple image shortcut. I will type footer and P. This creates a footer element with a paragraph inside it. Now I will update the text. And that's it. Our footer copy HTML is ready. Now let's move to the CSS. Let's start with the footer. I will center the text, add some padding, use the same dark coffee color we have used in another sections to keep the design consistent. And finally change the text color to white. Our coffee landing page is now complete. I hope you enjoy building this project with me and learned some useful HTML, CSS and image shortcut along the way. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more web development tutorials. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Happy coding!